How's it going, my peeps? It is now time for the WoW results slash highlights and review video. I'll go over the results of the show, some of the highlights in my opinion, and give you guys my thoughts on the show. So it kicks off with Stephanie McMahon coming out, and she talks about the main event and how Big Show ruined the main event, by knocking out Daniel Bryan, Randy, all the referees. So she brings out the Big Show, and she tells him to apologize to the fans. She tells him to beg for the fans' forgiveness. And Big Show laughs, and he says he's not going to beg. And he says, he knocked Randy Orton out because he couldn't take it anymore. And as far as Daniel Bryan goes, he knocked him out because you told me to. Stephanie McMahon told him to. And then Stephanie McMahon talks about how, she wasn't at the arena last night. Same with Triple H. So how could she tell him, to knock out Daniel Bryan? Big Show talks about how, Brad Maddox is pretty much their puppet, and, what they tell Maddox would tell him. And at some point, he insults Triple H, and he calls Triple H a son of a bitch, and that's when Stephanie McMahon gets mad. She starts slapping the Big Show a couple times, and then she says, what you gonna do about it? You're gonna do nothing because you're fired, and she fires the Big Show. And surprisingly, the Big Show doesn't cry to that announcement. Actually, right after she said it, he just knocked her out. Just kidding, of course, he didn't do that. He just left afterwards. And then it was Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow, a rematch from Battleground. And the ending of the match took place when Damien Sandow arch-whipped Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler came back and rolled up Damien Sandow, not for a pinfall, but he rolled him up, and then let go of him, and as soon as Damien Sandow got up, Dolph Ziggler hit the Faymaker for the victory. I was surprised he got the victory with the Faymaker. I don't remember the last time Dolph Ziggler got a pinfall victory after that move. Did he ever? I don't think so. I think he's always won his matches with the zigzag, and at some point he would win his matches with a sleeper hold. And then afterwards, Stephanie McMahon was backstage confronting Brad Maddox about Battleground, saying, she and Triple H left, and it was a mess with the Rhodes family winning, the power outage, and also Big Show, ruining the main event. And pretty much she tells him to apologize, to go out there and apologize to the fans and tell them how he's going to make it better. Or how he's going to make it up to them, actually. After that, it was a 6-diva tag team matchup. Once again, it was the Divas versus the Total Divas. Total Divas this time were Natalya and Jojo, as well as Eva Marie. Jojo didn't even get tagged in, though. And, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, and the opposite team was Alicia Fox, Rosa Mendez, and Aksana. I'm not sure if Rosa Mendez got tagged in. If she did, I might have missed it. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I do know Alicia Fox was in the matchup. I do know Aksana was in the matchup. But I don't recall if Rosa Mendez got tagged in. If she did, it was for a pretty short amount of time. Anyways, Natalya ends up getting the victory for her team after locking on the sharpshooter on, I believe, Aksana. I don't know. Aksana or Alicia Fox, one of the two, and got the victory. And then, right after, Brad Maddox comes out, and he apologizes to the fans, and says to ensure that we get a clear winner between Daniel Bryan and Randy. There's going to be a rematch inside Hell in a Cell. And there's going to be a special guest referee, and the fans get to pick the referee with the WWE app. He also says that he's not going to be one of the referees, and he introduces one of the referees right off the bat, and it's Booker T, or one of the choices, and it's Booker T. He comes out, puts a little promo saying why we should pick Booker T, talks about we should choose him because he's going to do what's best for the fans, but most importantly also what's best for business, and he ends a promo by saying, can you dig that? Or actually, can you dig it, sucker? And that was it. After that, it was Los Matadores versus 3MB, Heath Slater. Actually, not Heath Slater. Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal. I was actually expecting... I thought maybe Drew McIntyre wasn't going to be on the show or wasn't going to be a part of 3MB in tag team matches due to the recent tweets or whatever, but I guess not. So, anyways, Los Matadores won the matchup with their, double shell shock / double... back suplex? No, it's more of a double shell shock. So yeah, double shell shock, whatever it's called. I don't know. They hit their finisher on Drew McIntyre and win the matchup. After the match, Heath Slater runs after El Torrito, which is their bull mascot, and he gets on the top turnbuckle and hits a hurricanrana on Heath Slater. And then after that, Paul Heyman comes out with Ryback and Curtis Axel. He announces himself as the best in the world once again, because he says in the record books, it's gonna show he beat CM Punk, and also he's the only guy that can say he beat CM Punk with both hands tied behind his back. And then he talks about CM Punk, talks about how CM Punk is not only a bully, but he's also a cheater. Then he shows a picture of last night where CM Punk low-blowed Ryback, and then he shakes his head, and he's shaking his head for such a long time. Like, why is he shaking his head for such a long time? And not saying anything. And then CM Punk's music hits, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. Anyway, so yeah, CM Punk's music hits, he comes out, you know, like, grabbing his crotch like it hurts, whatever, you know, making fun of Ryback. And, yeah, he talks for a while, and, says, why are you out here? Are you out here to issue a rematch? If so, then, hey, rematch accepted. I'd like to do it right now, you know, tomorrow, whenever. And then Ryback tells CM Punk to, you know, come out to the ring and try and bully him. But of course, you know, he's got Curtis Axel also with him. And then R-Truth's music hits. He comes out and pretty much he tells CM Punk, you know, let's go to the ring. And they go down the ramp. And the referee then appears, and it turns into a tag team match. R-Truth and CM Punk versus Ryback and Curtis Axel. The first two legal men were CM Punk and Ryback, but Ryback didn't want any part of CM Punk, so he tagged in R-Truth. I mean, not R-Truth. He tagged in Curtis Axel, telling CM Punk that he needs to prove himself first. And in the end of the matchup, CM Punk hit the go-to-sleep on Curtis Axel, and then he tagged in R-Truth, who hit the scissors kick on Curtis Axel for the 1-2-3, so R-Truth and CM Punk win the matchup. Bob Backlund then came out because he's one of the choices you can vote for as referee for the Hell in a Cell match between Bryan and Orton. And, I don't know, he was yelling the whole time during the promo, and saying he's going to do what's best for the matchup, and if somebody gets out of line, he's going to put them in the crossface chicken wing. Kofi Kingston then faced off against Randy. Randy Orton ends up winning the matchup after, on the outside, he hits the DDT from the barrier onto the floor, and then he puts Kofi Kingston back in the ring, hits an RKO, covers him for the victory. Following that, we see Vickie backstage talking to Worker, and then Del Rio comes up to her, and he says he was expecting to have the night off, but he understands that people want to see their champion. He's the only champion right now. And then he says he knows Vickie's going to pick a good opponent for him. And he starts sucking up to her. He even gives her a scarf and then kisses her on the cheek. And then he leaves. But after he leaves, Vickie like grabs the scarf and then just throws it on the ground. And then right after that, they show the third choice for the referee in the Hell in a Cell match. And it's Shawn Michaels. And he talks about how he trained Daniel Bryan, also how he's friends with Triple H, but personal friends, and this is business. And also says how he and Randy don't like each other, but he says, you know, pretty much he's going to call it down the middle. He says to vote for HB, I think Shizzle or something like that. And then he says, you know, he's not going to do what's best for business. He doesn't care about that. He cares what's best for the fans. And then it's Alberto Del Rio coming out for a matchup, and Vickie Guerrero comes out and she introduces his opponent for tonight, and it's Ricardo Rodriguez. So Del Rio's all happy. Ricardo gets in the ring, bell rings, and then Vickie says one more announcement. She announces that Del Rio will be defending his World Heavyweight Championship at Hell in a Cell against John Cena. He gets distracted by that. Ricardo rolls him up, 1-2-3. Ricardo actually beats Del Rio. Ricardo then celebrates on the announcer's table. Del Rio's all mad, so he freaking trips Ricardo and starts beating him up. He then puts Ricardo's arm in between the chair, stomps on it a couple times, and then locks on the cross armbreaker. Pretty much the same thing he did to Rob Van Dam. And also, speaking of beating people up after matches, I forgot to mention that after Randy beat Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan came out and started beating up on Randy Orton. And he was beating him up on the inside, outside of the ring, and they had to be separated by like 5 refs and a bunch of other people. And in the end, Randy Orton just runs away to the back, and Daniel Bryan runs after him. And after the Ricardo beating by Del Rio, they also made it official, John Cena versus Del Rio. I'm surprised. I'm still not sure if this is actually going to happen or not. I mean, I thought John Cena was going to be out for like 5-6 months. It's only been like, what, he was out at the night after SummerSlam, which is in August. 2 months? It's definitely a lot sooner than expected, but anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, afterwards, it was Fandango versus Zack Ryder, And Fandango won the matchup with the top rope leg drop. He got a lot of airtime, or airspace, or whatever, when he jumped from that top turnbuckle to hit that leg drop. And yeah, Fandango beats Zack Ryder. And then they revealed the results for the referee pool. And Shawn Michaels won. After that, it was the Real Americans versus the Great Khali and Santino. A rematch from Battlegrounds. Same guys won. The Real Americans won after Antonio Cesaro hit the big swing once again on the Great Khali and then pinned him. After the match, they grabbed Hornswoggle, or Jack Swagger grabbed Hornswoggle, put him in the ring so Antonio Cesaro could swing him, and he did, but then Santino got back in the ring, hit the Cobra on Antonio Cesaro, and Khali chopped Jack Swagger. And then The Miz came out for Miz TV, and the guest was actually The Miz himself. And before he could say anything, really, he just did his, introduction for the show. The Wyatts come out. Bray Wyatt, they do their entrance. Actually, just Bray Wyatt does the entrance, and I didn't see them behind Bray Wyatt. They were actually behind The Miz once the lights came back on, and The Miz just got out of the ring right away, and you had, of course, Bray Wyatt still on the stage, so, and the two others are in the ring. Miz decides to run towards Bray Wyatt. He punches him a couple times, hits a kick on him, and then runs to the stage. He actually escapes them, and they just stare him down on the freaking ramp while he's on the top of the stage, and Bray Wyatt does that reverse, like the thing where he looks like he's upside down. Well, he is upside down, and he stares at you. Anyways, yeah, he does that. So you guys know what I'm talking about if you've freaking been watching. So yeah, and that was it for that. And then backstage, Triple H arrives, and pretty much he asks Stephanie how Brad's been doing, if he's messed up something else today, and calls him a moron. Stephanie McMahon says no, Brad Maddox hasn't messed up today, whatever. And he talks about the 6-man tag team match, Daniel Bryan and the Rhodes versus the Shields. And Brad Maddox says, I'm going to go out there and make sure everything's right with that matchup. Triple H says, no, you're going to stay here, and I'm going to go out there and make sure what happens tonight is what's best for business. The Shield then come out, followed by Goldust, Cody Rhodes, and Daniel Bryan, and also Triple H. He comes out to ensure what happens is what's best for business. He sits on a chair, like, right next to the announcer's table. So, anyways, the match show. Daniel Bryan, Cody Rhodes, and Goldust. They were about to win the matchup. Daniel Bryan had, I think it was Dean Ambrose was it Dean Ambrose or was it? No, it was Seth Rollins. He had Seth Rollins in the yes lock. So Seth Rollins probably about to tap out, and that's when Dean Ambrose comes in the ring with a steel chair, and he hits Cody Rhodes, and they call it a disqualification, so they win the face team wins the matchup by disqualification, but Triple H then gets on the microphone and says, no, we're not going to have this matchup end by disqualification. Let's restart this match, but this time, no disqualification. So they restart the match right away. Goldust and Cody are battling Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, maybe? Or Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, I'm not sure. Daniel Bryan, who's in the ring, then hits a suicide dive on both of them on the outside, and then Randy Orton comes out from the crowd area. He jumps over the barricade, hits an RKO on Daniel Bryan, leaves, and then Seth Rollins grabs Daniel Bryan, puts him back in the ring. Or actually, I think Randy Orton put him back in the ring. I don't know, but Seth Rollins ended up pinning Daniel Bryan, so the Shield won the matchup. And then after the match, Triple H is about to leave. He's like on the ramp, like at the end of the ramp, close to the ring, and he does a nod and like signals for the Shield to, attack Daniel Bryan and Cody Rhodes and Goldust. So they attack them. I think they then took out Daniel Bryan and Cody from the ring, so it's just Goldust and they were attacking him. And then the Big Show's music hits, and at this point I'm really happy. I'm like, oh shit, let's, I want to see this. So yeah, Big Show comes out, and Triple H looks all shocked, and keep in mind he's like, on the end of the ramp, like close to the ring, not inside the ring. So Big Show's all smiling, and he slowly walks down the ramp. Triple H gets back in the ring behind the Shield, and Big Show slowly, with that smile, walking towards the ring. He goes on the apron, gets in, and the Shield right away attacks him, and Big Show pushes them all back, but then they attack him once again, and this time Triple H takes off his suit. And he's yelling at the Big Show and yelling at the Shield, to take down the Big Show. And Big Show, once again, he throws them all away. And it's just down to Big Show and Triple H. Triple H looks all shocked. And he's face to face with the Big Show. And Big Show knocks him out. And I was really happy with this. We've been waiting for this for a while. We've been waiting for the Big Show to finally get his revenge. So that was like the happiest that I've been for a Big Show knockout punch, for Big Show to knock somebody out. I popped for that. I thought that was a cool moment. That made Raw for me. That made the ending of Raw. That just made the whole show. So he knocks out Triple H. Triple H is down. He gets out of the ring. And Daniel Bryan gets back in the ring and just stands over Triple H and laughs. And then he starts, chanting yes, yes, yes while Big Show's music hits. And he walks up the ramp, smiling. And that was the end of Raw. It was a cool Raw. You know what? That was the best moment of Raw. That was the highlight. Big Show finally knocking out Triple H. I was happy about that. If you can't tell, by me talking about it. So, yeah, that was cool. Also, Shawn Michaels, special guest referee for Hell in a Cell. I'm looking forward to that. I was thinking maybe, I wasn't sure who the third choice was going to be. Actually, Shawn Michaels did not enter my mind. I was like, I didn't think of HBK as a possibility. I totally forgot, but then he came out. I was really happy that it was HBK. At that point, I was like, alright, I'm pretty sure HBK is going to win this poll. At first, when they introduced Booker T, I thought maybe just Booker T was going to win the poll, but then I saw Shawn Michaels, I was like, never mind, I'm thinking HBK is going to win this. And, what a shocker. Also, freaking John Cena is going to return this soon versus Del Rio for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't think it's a Hell in a Cell match. I know last year, if you look back at last year's Hell in a Cell, there was only one Hell in a Cell match, and that was the main event, so I don't think it's very likely that this matchup, the World Heavyweight Championship match, is also going to be held inside Hell in a Cell. I think it's just going to be a regular matchup, while the WWE Championship will be held inside Hell in a Cell. So yeah, two matches already announced for Hell in a Cell. I enjoyed tonight's show, especially, like I said, because of that ending. As far as the matches goes, match of the night, I enjoyed Kofi versus Randy. That was a decent matchup. And in the end, as far as the rating goes, I'm going to give Raw an, 7.5 rate. You know what? I'm going to give it an 8 just because that ending, I was really happy with that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, as always, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. And you can expect an Exposing the Glitchers episode maybe this week. Maybe this week. If not, maybe next week. It's going to be either this week or next week. Probably this week if it's not, like I said, next week. So, my guys, see ya.